Check see if we're on. All right, welcome to Chain Gang Sports. I'm John Pope, and we are here at the new sports. What do we call this place, Coach? Complex?
Indoor facility.
Indoor
is what
facility. I call it. And I'm sitting in turf with a covered top, and I'm loving it. So excited about the show tonight. We've got Coach Wells with us, our new head football coach. Coach, how are you?
I'm great.
So I'm going to just jump into it if you're okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into coaching.
Well, I graduated. I played high school football at Aurora football, played all the sports, and went to Missouri State and knew I wanted to coach. And my last year of at Missouri State, I actually coached at Parkview High School. And then that next spring, I did my student teaching and got hired on at Cassville for that spring. And I spent my first 11 years at Cassville.
So, Coach, you retired actually from coaching, correct?
Correct.
What made you choose Rogersville as a place to come back to coach?
Well, yeah, I knew I was going to coach again. I was the head football coach. I retired in Missouri after 28 years and went to Arkansas, and was the head football coach at Harrison for 7 years, and then I just had some AD duties and coached some golf the last 3 years. But I knew I was going to get back into it, and I knew it was going to be across the state line back into Missouri. And I was really looking for a place around Springfield. I was looking for a place. I didn't want to be in a really big school because I've done all that before, and I just don't think bigger is better. And I wanted a place where the program had room to grow, and Rogersville just fit the bill, and it just worked out great for me.
Yeah, kind of a follow-up to that. So what were the specific aspects of Rogersville that you were looking for, maybe for you and your family? Your son also coaches with you, so you bring on a little bit of your own staff coming here. But what were the specific aspects of Rogersville?
Well, first of all, he's not my son. We're not related.
Oh, okay.
But we are longtime friends,
okay.
Aaron Wells. But the aspects out here, I knew that they've been successful in about everything in the last few years except football. And that tells me there's athletes out here, there's support out here, and I've always felt like, even when I was in the area, that this could be a sleeping giant. I really thought it could be, and I had a lot of people tell me it can't be done, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah. Well, I think you may look back at that. What was it? The baseball movie. If you build it, they will come. So we're glad to have you. So we built you the facilities, and we're glad you came out. You talk a lot about wanting your players to move, compete, and be excited for football in previous interviews. How do you install that energy and mindset in a team, Coach?
Well, I just think you have to be consistent at what you do. We do things weekly, pretty much exactly the same each day of the week. We warm up the same. We do everything exactly the same, and so they know what to expect, and they know the expectation of effort. And really, I tell them there's really two things that we can't that are non-negotiables. One's we don't tolerate lack of effort or lack of respect, and everything else we can kind of deal with. But the kids have been. They've been great, really good, really impressed with really bunch of good young men to work with.
Awesome. When in coaching, you've got all these kids here. We've got the talent, we've got the ability. What are you bringing in that's maybe a little bit of a different philosophy? Maybe something just personal to you that you've always used to coach.
Well, first of all, being able to bring in some quality staff members helped a lot. Richard Rehagen. He was my defensive coordinator when I was at Nixa for 7 years and took over from me when I left. He was a head coach at Nixa for 12 years. Aaron Wells was his offensive coordinator for those years. So we're talking about a couple of guys that high-level COC coaches that really experienced football coaches. So we've got the guys in place to be able to coach these guys along with the current staff that we kept on here. So I think that's critical to it. Secondly is, really some experience and and things over the years that you do, that you learn, the system that you put together. And I really feel like, our offensive system is one of which you can. It is so flexible that if you have a good receiver, you can showcase him. If you have a good back, you can showcase him. If you have a good quarterback who's a runner or a thrower. So I've been through all of those different phases and everything. So our system is really put together where it's flexible enough to feature the talent that you have. And at the high school level, you have to be able to adapt to the talents that you have, because there's nobody else come walking in the door. So we got to make them as good as we can get. And but I think all those factors are involved in it, along with, we got some good players right now too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I run into him in the summer at the Come and Go over here, Maverick as it's called now. But, I'm always like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? Because this is my favorite time of year. Football, you get it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So no chores. But anyways, they said that they felt the chemistry was different. And, that they felt like they were gelling and they were excited. I mean, and they're coming in drenched in sweat, so I know you're putting them to work. Where's that energy coming from, do you think?
Well, I've asked them, to really be selfless, really be unselfish. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about our team and our program. And they've gone to work that way. And I told them before, I don't care who scores the touchdowns. I don't care who catches passes or rushes the football. We're trying to win football games, and we don't care if it's 2-0 or 49-48. Whatever we have to do as a team or as a philosophy that night to win a football game is what we're going to try to do, and I think they've really bought into that.
Yeah, I noticed with the and back in the day, I say back in the day, 5-6 years ago, we had to play pretty much every player both ways, and I've noticed, and maybe it's not something you've ever thought about, or or that's maybe not your philosophy, but I've noticed you don't seem to want to have players on defense and offense at the same time if you can help it. That's huge.
I would love not to play anybody both ways, but it doesn't exactly happen that way. But it's really important if you've got some offense and defensive linemen that you don't have to play both ways all the time, because with skill guys you can get by some. Their endurance is a little bit more than usually the big linemen are. But I think that's been critical. And not only when you do that, when you do that, you play a lot more players and you get a lot more players involved on a Friday night. And with special teams and everything, we play probably about, I would say, between 30 and 35 players on a Friday, at least get on the field on a Friday night.
Yeah. So you go back to the trenches, and I think that's an area where no one ever gets credit enough for. Those are the guys in the trenches, both on offense and defense. They're putting in max effort. I mean, every play, and kind of like what you were saying, I was joking around with Vance Nally, and I said, if I'm a wide out and I know it's not coming to me, I'm just trying to draw my defensive player off, I can jog that, or I can, get a little bit of a break in there. But Vance quickly said, there's no breaks for us.
No, there is not. I mean, you're in there banging every single play, and really you're kind of on an island in there as well. That big eye in the sky, it doesn't lie in there, and you get challenged each and every play and each and every game in there. And I think we our offense and defensive lines have continued to improve throughout the year. We didn't play great week 1. We didn't play great week 2. Played a little better, but we've continued to improve each week, and I think if we can continue to do that, I think we got a chance to be pretty good if we stay healthy by the end of the year.
Yeah, defense looks really good. Offense, I'm going to go back to that. Something that we've not seen, is the ability to score at ease. And I don't mean at ease, like, hey, we're just going to come down here and score. But for me as an announcer and some of the fans, it seems like we get the ball. And I know that first game, I don't know that we would hold it maybe 2 or 3 snaps and we're in the end zone. Yeah. Is that a different offense you've put into place? I know you said you put in a place where you don't care who scores. you're going to use all your talent at the same time.
We're gonna take advantage of we've got some kids that can run and we had the first 2 ball games there. Those teams I guess were foolish enough to play us man coverage and we got some guys that can get behind you and we took advantage of it, especially early in the ball game. And Ava, we just couldn't get them off the field. Their offense was really good. But I think we had like almost 600 yards that night in 30 snaps.
Yeah.
So we have some big play ability. At receiver and at running back. Sam has played really well at quarterback for us. Really well the other night, and I'm super proud of him and what he's been able to accomplish so far.
Yeah, super proud of Sam, and and I think too, he doesn't get all the credit he deserves if people realize, the amount of pressure, the amount of work he has to put in. But let's talk about Sam and the seniors. How have your seniors been? Have you seen them step up into that leadership role and say, hey, this is, Coach Wells' team, obviously, but it's our team. We're going to help Coach Wells out.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that helps out in that. When I came in here, I didn't say we're going to rebuild this. We're not going to rebuild this deal. We're going to try to win football games right now. We're going to try to win with the guys we got, with these seniors, and get in there. And I think they really took to that. Is like, hey, we're not just going to play these young guys to try to get better for down the road. We're going to try to win football games right now.
Yeah.
And so they bought in really quickly, and they've done a really good job of leading us. And obviously we have some talented young players as well, but they've done a really good job of leading us so far.
Coming off last week's win against Carl Junction, huge win for us. You guys, played exceptionally well. It's exciting. Some people would just flat out say, I didn't expect that. We all knew it was going to be a tough game. How do you manage player expectations now with a 4-0 start and just coming off a win to Carl Junction?
Well, other than being beat up a little bit, we've been really focused this week, and they really, they got beat twice last year by West Plains, and I think that is stuck in their craw a little bit. Talk about revenge, but the number one thing is they have a belief. They have a belief that they can win. And the other night, I think that just, when they came back and tied the football game, we faced a little adversity. We overcame it and won the game, and a big defensive stop, to really make a big play at the game. It gave our kids a lot of confidence, and we know if we play well and we play at a high level, and that is the standard that we expect, then we have a chance to win every Friday night. And what else can you ask for as a coach is to have a chance every Friday night, and they don't always go your way, but if you have a chance every Friday night, you're going to win your more than your share.
Yeah. It's funny because I asked the players this week a little bit here and there, and I said, were you surprised by the Carl Junction victory? And not a one of them said yes. They all went in. They all said they went in knowing it was going to be a battle. And, they didn't necessarily say, oh, we knew we were going to win, but they said we knew it was going to be a battle and we were ready. When did you notice that hit the team,
Well, I've been preaching it, ever since I got here. I said, you guys have no idea how good you can be. You really don't. You don't have any idea. I said, I believe in you. I believe that we have the ability, and I believe that we can be a very good football team, but they've got to believe it. And I think they're starting to believe it, and even though we didn't play as well the first couple of games, which you're not going to, if you're playing as good as you can week one, you're in trouble for the rest of the year. So, but we've improved each week. But the win the other night, I think, as much as anything, just gave our kids a belief that, there's a lot of people we can beat, and we have a chance to win each and every Friday. And we know this week's going to be a really tough football game, a 4-quarter game, just like last week. But we got a great chance to win it.
Yeah. So you come here, and I'm sure you know a few people from here. What would you say the environment's like on Friday nights here at the stadium?
Well, I always have to ask my wife that, because I once we get going, I don't really hear anything, to be honest with you. I'll get home sometimes and go, hey, did we have a big crowd? Or I don't even know, know. But no, we've only had the one home game, but I think it'll be good. But I think it'll even be quite a bit bigger. Yeah. Even this week, coming off of a big win.
I'll tell you, and I can't remember the specific play it was, but you came out and you were fired up on a ref, and it was justified. And I looked over at my wife and I said, "That's a coach people play for." Because if you're sitting there backing them and you're saying, "Hey, I'm firing Matt. That's my player. This is our team." That was just a statement, wasn't a question, but I loved it. I looked at it and I said, "Man, you talk about players, coaches. People, those coaches that kids just want to play for." And you making that move, that was just amazing.
Well, we're going to take up for our guys. We tell them all the time, hey, let me do the fighting. You guys. Hey, I'll take care of this part of it. But I get fired up every once in a while. I mean, I get somebody pull me back once in a while, but most of the time I'm pretty laid back. But there's times where you really got to take up for your guys, and you might not get that call, but you get the one down the road.
Got a little hound dog in you.
Little hound dog.
I mean, you got to pull that out. So, we take on West Plains this week. What are we looking at in the matchup between West Plains and the Wildcats?
Well, West Plains is one of those teams. They're traditionally big, strong, physical. They'll come in and try to bully you around. If we don't respond to that early in the game, then they'll get after us. But if we respond to that, I've coached against them several times. Yeah. If you respond to that, then it's going to be a football game. If you can make it just a football game, then we'll have a great chance to win it.
That's awesome. I've got a few quick fire questions for you. Okay. They're completely silly, Coach.
Okay.
You can thank my lovely, beautiful wife there. The folks want to know cake or ice cream.
Oh, I'm ice cream all the way.
Okay, good. First football memory.
Oh, my. Probably going to Razorback game when I was very young. My parents take me to a Razorback game. I'm a Woo Pig Suey through and through, yeah.
Do you like OU?
No.
Oh, gosh, Coach, come on now. Favorite motivational quote?
I use this with our kids all the time. Do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got.
That's awesome. They had a few, I don't know if you watched the show. Were they talking about him?
I'm sure they were.
Again. I don't remember what they were saying, but they were kind of giving you a hard time. Best pregame superstition or ritual?
I am kind of superstitious, but I don't really have a whole lot of stuff that I do during pregame. I just try to get my mind focused and go. But we go walk the field at 5:00, and that that's one of those things that I've always done is try to get out there on the field and walk from one end to the other and meet our kids in the middle and just try to get their focus on actually the football game. But it's probably just as much for me as it is for them.
That's awesome. If you weren't coaching, what would you do?
Oh, well, I'd like to be playing golf. But,
well, you retired, but thankfully we got you back.
I do not want to do anything other than coach.
We're going to have a candlelight dinner. I do not know why the lights shut out, but
I think they're automatic.
They're automatic. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully they can still see us on there.
There they come back. If you move around a little bit.
What is your favorite position to coach?
Well, probably quarterbacks. I played that in high school, and I've coached that the offensive side of the ball, for 36 years, and I've coached multiple positions on offense and defense as well. But I think if I wasn't a head coach, I'd probably just want to go coach the offensive line because I really like those guys, and they're kind of they don't get all the credit, and I always tell people, if you want your daughter to marry good, well, marry an offensive lineman. Yeah. He's going to be unselfish, and he's going to be all about you. So,
Well, I probably shouldn't say this. I'm going to get smacked by my daughter, but she is dating a defensive lineman.
That's okay.
So, I mean, kind of in that same
boat, yeah.
So hardest lesson you've learned in football?
Oh, I tell you what, probably I don't think that you become a good coach until you struggle. And, we've all struggled. I mean, I had 1 year where early in my career where we won the first one and the last one, and we lost 8 in a row in between. And you know what? I became a lot better football coach after that. And I think, there was a good lesson to teach me. You become a good coach until you realize how much you don't know.
Yeah.
And so when you struggle, you have to find a way to get better. And I've told myself that each year that I was going to try to do something to make myself a better football coach each year. And, I think I've tried to do that.
Favorite home-cooked meal your wife makes?
Well, my favorite home-cooked meal isn't one my wife makes. My favorite home-cooked meal is brown beans and cornbread. Okay.
Coach.
All right. Fried potatoes in there with
Coach.
it. That's how I grew up. But that's what probably when I go to my mom's, she still makes that.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? Like, I don't know if you're like me, but when I was growing up, we'd have all those meals, and I'd be like, we're having beans, or now I constantly, I'm like, Mom, can you make me some beans and cornbread?
What I call her, tell her I'm coming in a couple of days. She goes, I'll have the beans ready to go.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Where's she live?
They live in Harrison, Arkansas.
Okay, that's not too far. I go down there.
It's about an hour.
I go to Beaver Lake every other weekend, so and then your favorite football movie or show?
Remember the Titans was very good. That's a really good football movie. The movie Greater.
Yes.
Well, Brandon Burlsworth was from Harrison, where I coached, and my whole family's from Arkansas. We moved to Aurora when I was 10 years old. Okay, but my dad grew up in a little place called Snowball, Arkansas. And Brandon Burlsworth's mother grew up there as well. They went to school together all the way through. So we've known the Burlsworth family, my whole life. It would be, I can't mention the football movie without mentioning that, because it's really not Hollywooded up like a lot of the movies are. And it was very much a tragic story. Yeah. But that was, obviously it has a lot, pulls on your heartstrings a little.
It does, and it's one of those cover everything movies. You can use it for date. I mean, because if you're not dating someone who likes football, why are you dating them? And then it's that the faith aspect and so many different aspects. That's pretty neat. Did you what's the trophy named? I'm sorry.
Burlsworth.
Trophy.
He was Brandon Burlsworth, and the Brandon Burlsworth Trophy goes to the best walk-on of the year in college football. And I've been to that award ceremony several times, and Baker Mayfield won it twice.
I was setting you up.
He did. Baker Mayfield won it twice.
Nope.
I was at both of those, so yeah very good. But
did you get to meet him?
I did. Well, I don't know him, but I have met him.
Yeah, that is such a moving tribute, and I honestly had never watched the movie Greater till he won that award. Mm-hmm. And I went and researched, and I'm like, oh wow, and then watched the movie, and I was blown away.
Oh yeah, so, it's really a good story, and really a tragic ending, obviously, but the last 10 years they've done it for 20 or 21 years. The last 10 years, I've been involved in running their camps.
Oh, wow.
We ran one in Harrison on a Friday and one in Little Rock on a Saturday in early June. So cool. Been involved in all that. So, we brought, 200 kids into each day in those places, and they do a lot of great things with, they provide eyeglasses for kids who can't afford them and things like that. Awesome. So they do a lot of good stuff with the foundation.
That's awesome. Well, I won't take up any more of your time, Coach. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and letting us get to meet you a little bit. We have that whole Aurora Hound Dog connection.
Oh yeah.
So and the beans. So
yep.
well,
I'd like to say one thing.
Yes, sir.
You know, my wife, she's also a Aurora Hound dog. Her dad was a longtime doctor there. But big reason for our success, my success, is because of her. She's missed 2 football games in 36 years, and those are both for deaths in the family.
Wow.
And she comes out and brings popsicles every Wednesday night after practice. So I think that's where the effort and the energy comes from.
They're playing for those popsicles.
For popsicles. Big day. Wednesdays are big day.
So awesome. Hey, you guys, we want to thank our sponsors real quick. Citizens Bank of Rogersville, who is our premier sponsor. Green Box Photography, Postgame Pizza, Shelter Insurance, Eric Farron, MDP Motors, J&G Services, Julian's Heating and Air, Rogersville Pharmacy, and also B&B Well and Pump. So, Coach, thank you so much for doing this. And we will be there. I'll be calling the game Friday night, so I'm excited. Guys, pack it out Friday night. We need to, from the moment they pull in those buses, we need to have our tailgaters out there. We need to show this is a football town. So come out and just enjoy a wonderful night with us. So, all right, Coach, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, go Cats.